Have you ever found yourself wondering, does he actually like me, or am I just imagining things? You replay conversations in your head, you analyze every smile, every message, every glance. And the truth is, attraction isn't just spoken, it's shown loudly, clearly, consistently through body language. Because when a man is genuinely interested in you, his body can't hide it even if his words try to. Let's talk about what to look for. When a man genuinely likes you, one of the clearest signs shows up in the way he gives you his attention. Not partial attention, not distracted attention, but focused, intentional attention that makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. This kind of attention is difficult to fake because it comes from genuine interest, and it naturally reveals where his priorities are in that moment. You'll notice it first in his eyes. His gaze lingers a little longer than usual. When you're speaking, he isn't scanning the room, checking his phone, or looking over your shoulder to see who else is around. He's present, fully present. It feels different because most people today are used to divided attention, where someone is physically there but mentally somewhere else. But when a man likes you, his focus locks in, and you can feel that shift immediately. It's not just about eye contact either. It's about how often he seeks you out. In a group setting, even if he's talking to others, his attention keeps circling back to you. He'll glance at you to see your reaction, include you in conversations, or position himself in a way that keeps you within his line of sight. It's almost like there's an invisible thread connecting his awareness back to you, no matter what else is happening around him. This kind of attention also shows up in how he listens. When you talk, he doesn't just hear your words, he engages with them. He responds thoughtfully, asks follow-up questions, and remembers small details you've shared before. That's a powerful indicator of interest because people naturally invest mental energy into things and people they care about. If he recalls something you mentioned days or even weeks ago, it's because you stayed on his mind after the conversation ended. Another layer of this focused attention is how he reacts to you emotionally. When you laugh, he lights up. When you share something meaningful, he leans in, showing curiosity and care. His expressions align with what you're saying, which means he's not just physically attentive, but emotionally tuned in as well. That emotional responsiveness is a strong signal that he values the connection and wants to deepen it. You might also notice that distractions don't easily pull him away. Even if something else is happening, noise, people walking by, phones buzzing, he keeps bringing his focus back to you. It's not that he's unaware of his surroundings. It's that, in that moment, you matter more. That priority is subtle but incredibly telling because attention is one of the most valuable things a person can give. Sometimes this focused attention can even feel a little intense, especially if you're not used to it. But when a man genuinely likes you, his desire to be physically close to you shows up in subtle but consistent ways. This isn't about anything obvious or forced. It's natural, almost automatic. His body starts to move toward you without him even realizing it because attraction creates a sense of comfort and curiosity that draws him in. You'll often notice this first in how he positions himself around you. In a room full of people, he somehow ends up standing or sitting near you, even when there are plenty of other options. It's not coincidence. He chooses proximity because being close to you feels good to him. It gives him more opportunities to interact, to listen, and to be part of your space without needing a big reason. Pay attention to how he leans in when you're talking. Even in a setting where he could easily hear you, he'll close the distance slightly. That small movement is powerful because it signals interest and engagement. It shows that he wants to catch every word, every nuance of what you're saying. Leaning in also creates a more intimate bubble between the two of you, separating your interaction from everything else happening around you. Another thing you might notice is how he reduces physical barriers. If there's something between you, like a bag, a chair, or even crossed arms, he'll naturally shift to remove it. He might turn his body directly toward you instead of angling away. His posture opens up. These small adjustments create a sense of openness and availability, signaling that he's comfortable and interested in connecting more closely. In group situations, proximity becomes even more revealing. He may subtly position himself next to you when the group moves or find reasons to sit beside you instead of across the room. If the group is walking, he might naturally fall into step with you. It doesn't feel forced, it just keeps happening. That repeated pattern is what matters. because it shows intention beneath the surface. There's also a certain awareness in how he navigates shared space with you. He becomes more attuned to where you are, adjusting his movements so he stays within your orbit. If you shift positions, he may unconsciously shift too, maintaining that closeness. It's almost like he's magnetized by your presence, even if he's not actively thinking about it. You might also pick up on the small ways he creates reasons to be near you. Maybe he comes over to ask a question he could have asked from a distance, or finds an excuse to join a conversation you're part of. These moments may seem casual on the surface, but they're often driven by a deeper desire to be around you more often. Proximity also ties into comfort. When a man likes you, being near you doesn't feel awkward to him. It feels natural and easy. He doesn't keep a noticeable distance or create unnecessary space. Instead, he settles into that closeness in a way that feels relaxed rather than tense. That ease is important because it shows he's not just interested, but also comfortable in your presence. Over time, this consistent effort to be physically close builds a sense of familiarity between you. It creates more opportunities for conversation, shared moments, and connection. And while each individual movement might seem small on its own, together they form a clear pattern. He wants to be near you because being near you is exactly where he wants to be. When a man genuinely likes you, one of the most overlooked yet revealing signs is the subtle shift in his behavior, the nervous energy that starts to appear when you're around. This isn't about him lacking confidence. In fact, it often shows up even in men who are normally calm, composed, and self-assured. The difference is that your presence raises the stakes for him emotionally, and that internal pressure has to go somewhere. It leaks out through small, almost unnoticeable actions. You might see it in the way he fidgets. Maybe he adjusts his watch, fixes his sleeves, straightens his shirt, or runs his hand through his hair more often than usual. These gestures aren't random. They're signs that he's becoming more self-aware in your presence. He wants to present himself well, to look good in your eyes, and that desire creates a slight tension in his body. That tension translates into movement. Sometimes it shows up in his speech. He might stumble over his words, speak a little faster than normal, or pause mid-sentence as if he's choosing his words more carefully. This happens because he's thinking about how he's being perceived by you. When a man doesn't care, his words flow effortlessly because there's no emotional investment. But when he does care, he becomes more mindful, and that awareness can interrupt his usual rhythm. You may also notice changes in his breathing or posture. He might take a deeper breath before speaking, stand a little straighter, or shift his stance as if he's trying to find the right way to present himself. These are subtle signals, but they reflect something important happening internally. He wants to impress you, and that intention creates a mix of excitement and nervousness. Eye contact can also reveal this nervous energy in an interesting way. He may hold eye contact for a moment, then look away, then come back again. It's not avoidance, it's a push and pull. He's drawn to you, but at the same time, he feels the intensity of that connection. That back and forth creates a kind of emotional tension that often shows up in how he uses his eyes. Another powerful sign is how his behavior changes specifically around you compared to others. If he's relaxed and effortless with everyone else, but becomes slightly more animated, more careful, or even a bit awkward around you, that contrast speaks volumes. It means you affect him in a way that others don't. You've shifted his emotional state, and his body is responding in real time. There's also an element of excitement hidden within this nervousness. He may laugh a little more, react a bit more strongly to what you say, or show heightened energy when interacting with you. It's not just anxiety, it's a combination of anticipation and interest. He's engaged, he's present, and he's feeling something that matters to him. What makes this sign so important is that it's incredibly difficult to fake. Nervous energy comes from a genuine emotional response. It's not something someone can easily manufacture or control completely. Even if he tries to stay composed, these small behaviors tend to slip through because they're driven by instinct rather than intention. Over time, as he becomes more comfortable, some of this nervousness may settle down, but in the early stages, it's often one of the clearest indicators that you've made an impact. It shows that he's not indifferent, not detached, but emotionally invested enough to feel that extra layer of awareness when he's around you. When a man genuinely likes you, one of the most fascinating and subtle signs shows up in the way he begins to mirror you. This isn't something he plans or even notices consciously. It happens automatically because when we feel connected to someone, our minds and bodies start to sync with theirs. It's a natural human response that signals comfort, attraction, and a desire to build rapport. You might first notice it in small physical movements. If you lean slightly forward while talking, he leans forward too. If you cross your legs or tilt your head, a few moments later, he does something similar. These aren't exact copies, and they don't happen instantly, but the rhythm of his movements begins to align with yours. It creates a subtle sense of harmony between the two of you, as if you're both moving to the same beat without even trying. Mirroring also shows up in posture. If you're relaxed, he tends to relax. If you're more animated and expressive, he becomes more animated as well. It's as though he's adjusting himself to match your energy level. This is important because it shows he's paying attention, not just to what you're saying, but to how you're being. He's tuning into your vibe and responding in a way that brings him closer to your world. Another layer of mirroring appears in communication style. If you speak softly and thoughtfully, he may lower his tone to match yours. If you're playful and lighthearted, he starts to adopt that same playfulness. Even the pace of conversation can become synchronized. You pause, he pauses. You speed up, he speeds up. This alignment creates a feeling of ease where the interaction flows naturally without forcing anything. What makes mirroring so powerful is that it builds a sense of familiarity. Humans are naturally drawn to people who feel similar to them because similarity creates comfort. When he mirrors you, even subconsciously, it sends a signal to your brain that this person gets you. That's why conversations with someone who is mirroring you often feel smoother, more engaging, and more enjoyable. You may also notice mirroring in emotional responses. If you're excited about something, he reflects that excitement back to you. If you're serious or focused, he matches that tone. It's not about copying your emotions exactly, but about aligning with them in a way that shows he's present and connected. This emotional synchronization is a strong indicator that he's not just hearing you, he's experiencing the moment with you. In group settings, this becomes even more noticeable. While he may interact with others, his behavior tends to align most closely with yours. If you shift your attention, he follows. If you laugh, he's more likely to laugh with you. It's as if there's an invisible link guiding his responses, keeping him in sync with you even when there are multiple people around. Sometimes mirroring can be so subtle that you only recognize it when you step back and reflect on the interaction. You realize that the conversation felt unusually natural, that there was a sense of flow that didn't require effort. That's often the result of this unconscious alignment happening beneath the surface. It's important to understand that mirroring isn't about imitation in a forced or exaggerated way. In fact, if it feels obvious or mechanical, it's probably not genuine. Real mirroring is soft, delayed, and almost invisible. It's a quiet signal that connection is forming, that he feels comfortable enough to align himself with you without even thinking about it. Over time, this synchronization can deepen, creating a stronger sense of connection and understanding between you. It becomes easier to communicate, easier to relate, and easier to enjoy each other's presence. And all of it starts with these small, almost unnoticed moments where his body and behavior begin to reflect yours, revealing a genuine interest that goes beyond words. When a man genuinely likes you, one of the most telling signs appears in the way he uses touch, subtle, respectful, and natural touch that feels rather than forced. This isn't about anything overly obvious or inappropriate. It's about those small, fleeting moments of physical connection that happen almost instinctively, revealing both his comfort with you and his desire to create a closer bond. You might first notice it in light, casual ways. A brief touch on your arm while he's making a point. A gentle tap when you both laugh at something. These touches are quick, almost effortless, but they carry meaning because they break the physical boundary in a way that feels warm and natural. He's not overthinking it. His body is simply responding to the connection he feels with you. Another common moment is when he uses touch to guide or support you in shared spaces. If you're walking through a crowded area, he might lightly place his hand near your back to guide you through. If you're stepping over something or navigating an uneven surface, he may offer his hand without hesitation. These gestures are subtle, but they show attentiveness and a desire to be physically present in your experience, not just emotionally. What's important here is the quality of the touch. It's not rushed or careless, and it's never invasive. Instead, it feels intentional yet effortless, like it naturally fits the moment. That balance is key. because genuine attraction respects boundaries while still seeking connection. When a man likes you, he becomes more aware of how and when he touches you, making sure it feels comfortable for both of you. You may also notice that these touches tend to happen more during moments of shared emotion. When you're both laughing, celebrating something, or even having a meaningful conversation, that's when touch is most likely to appear. It becomes a way for him to deepen the moment, to reinforce the connection without needing to say anything extra. It's a physical expression of what he's feeling internally. Over time, if the connection continues to grow, these touches may become slightly more frequent, but they still remain natural and respectful. He's not forcing opportunities, he's responding to them. For example, if there's a moment where your hands brush and neither of you pulls away immediately, that pause can speak volumes. It shows mutual comfort and a shared awareness of the connection between you. Another subtle sign is how he reacts after the touch. If he maintains a relaxed demeanor, continues the conversation smoothly, and doesn't seem awkward or withdrawn, it indicates confidence and genuine interest. On the other hand, if there's a slight smile, a softening in his expression, or even a brief moment of shyness, that can reveal that the touch meant something to him. It wasn't just casual, it was felt. Touch also creates a kind of emotional imprint. Even brief contact can leave a lasting impression because it engages a different level of connection beyond words. When a man likes you, he often seeks these small opportunities because they allow him to feel closer to you in a way that conversation alone cannot achieve. It's also worth noticing consistency. One accidental touch doesn't mean much on its own, but when these moments happen repeatedly, in different contexts, and always in a respectful, natural way, they form a pattern. That pattern shows intention beneath the surface, a desire to connect, to be close, and to express interest without needing to declare it outright. In many ways, touch is one of the clearest bridges between interest and action. Words can be uncertain, and signals can sometimes be. At the end of the day, what truly matters isn't just one signal, one moment, or one interaction. It's the pattern that forms when all of these signs come together. When a man genuinely likes you, his attention becomes focused, his presence moves closer, his energy shifts, his behavior aligns with yours, and he finds natural ways to connect through touch. None of it feels forced, confusing, or inconsistent. Instead, it creates a sense of ease, clarity, and growing connection.